there. Welcome to the week 5 learning guide for college algebra. I can't believe we've gotten this far. We've done a lot of good work so far, and we're just going to keep up that momentum. Hopefully, this week we're going to look at linear equations and solving quadratics. As always, I will link the learning guide below. So if you want to download a copy, you definitely can do that. And then follow along, taking great notes as we're working. I'm going to add a little light there. Hopefully, that's going to help. Looks good. Let's dive in. So for this one, I am going to begin by graphing. Now, I want you to remember in some of our previous videos, we have talked about the y equals mx plus b form. That is the slope-intercept form. But when we're graphing, this b value gives us our starting point. And the m value gives us our slope. So it tells us how much to rise and run. So looking at number 1 here, I can tell that my b value is -5. So I'm going to start on the y-axis at -5. So here's my origin. I'm going down -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can tell that my m value is -3. Now you'll want to go ahead and write that as -3/1. The top number tells you how much to rise. Well, it's negative, so that means I'm going to go down. 1, 2, 3. The bottom number tells us to run, and it's positive, so I'm going to run to the right 1. Now, you can take your straight edge then and line it up. As always, my handy dandy Sonic gift card there. And then you can graph your line. But all of it depends on your M and your B value there. All right, let's look at number 2. When we're looking for the slope from a set of points, we'll want to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now remember, the 1s and the 2s are just telling us y2 is the second y coordinate, y1 is the first y coordinate. And so let us put our values in that formula. The 2 will be x1, the 3 will be y1, the 5 will be x2, and the 1 will be y2. Let's put those values in my formula. So y2 is 1, minus y1 is 3, over x2 is 5, minus x1, which is 2. Now do your subtraction on the top. That gives you -2, and on the bottom gives you 3. So my slope is -2/3 here. Moving along here on number 3, we're asked to um, show, well, first of all, we are told two functions. F of x is 2x minus 3, and g of x looks like 3x plus 7. Okay, so I'm going to begin by graphing these two because I want us to see it from a graph approach. Actually, C asks us to graph anyways. So I'm going to graph them first. Just like I did up here, I'm going to start at my B value. So I'm going to start at -3. And I'm going to use my M value of 2. Remember, 2 over 1. So from here, I'm going up 2 over 1. Do it again. 1, 2 over 1. And I'm going to graph it with my straight edge. And then let's do the other one, 3x plus 7. So we'll start at 7. And we're going to go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. Okay, now it looks like they're like they're never going to touch, but I want you to realize that if we kept going, they would eventually touch over here. Let's go ahead and solve in part A. We're going to actually just set these equal to each other. 2x minus 3 equals 3x plus 7. Okay, let's get all the x's on one side. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. That leaves me with -x minus 3 equals 7. Then I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That gives me negative x equals 10. And then I can multiply both sides by a negative 1. That gives me x equals negative 10. Now, if we want to solve for a less than sign, then realize what we're going to do, and for part B, is we're just going to take those two and put a less than or equal to between them. Now, the difference is I don't really solve it different except for one step. So I'm going to subtract that 3x again, just like I did. Got negative x minus 3 less than or equal to 7. I'm going to add the 3 to both sides. So now I've got negative x is less than or equal to 10. Now, friends, when I multiply by negative 1 here, the one change is I have to flip that inequality. That's the rule for solving for inequalities. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you've got to flip that inequality so that it will remain true. And so that's what I would have for that one. Okay, let's finish up the last one here, asking us to solve a quadratic. Now remember, a quadratic is where the highest exponent is a 2. And I'm going to use the factoring method to solve this one. So I'm going to try to find 2 parentheses. Now I ask myself, what times what would give me 2x squared? Well, that would have to be 2x and x. Now, what times what would give me negative 5? I know it's going to be 5 and negative 1 or negative 5 and 1. I'm not really sure which one, but I'm going to play out here. I'm going to try it. So now I'm going to see I've got 5x and I've got 2x. Now remember, it's going to have to add to 3x. So in order to add to positive 3x, I need this to be negative, which means I need a negative in this parentheses and a positive in that parentheses. Now, once you have factored it, then you get to set each parentheses equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 5, and then I'm going to add 1. And notice I get 2 answers. This is very common in a quadratic. We know we can get up to 2 answers. So I hope this helps. If you want to see the next video for this week's learning guide, I'll be sure and put the link below, but don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time a new video is posted. Bye-bye for now.